Greetings everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Sonic 3D Blast. We have an extra life already. Welcome to Rusty Ruin Zone, the second stage of the game. It's obviously patterned after some ruins. Go figure. The big gimmick of this level is this tornado type move that Sonic's doing. You stand on those fans and he spins around. Use it to break these marble columns. Spread throughout the level. And hey, it's Tails already. Yes, there's a few special stages in this level. Now, some people complained in the last level that I didn't show every single special stage location. I'm not really going for let me show you every inch of the level. I'm trying to beat it 100%, getting all the emeralds, etc. to get the good ending, but I'm not really going to show every single nook and cranny of every single level, because you get the idea. Anyway, let's put all that behind us and accept the fact that this zone has some of the best music in the entire game. It's probably one of my favorite tracks. Anyhow, a few new badniks to watch out for. We have the alligators and those little fly-type bugs that we saw. Right now I was just collecting enough rings to go into the special stage. I'll talk a little bit more about the level after the special stage is over. So I decided one of the ways to help out with the special stage is to speed it up a little bit, maybe play a little soothing music. So enjoy this remix of the Rusty Ruin Zone. Wasn't that pleasant? Don't worry, we'll come back to that song a little later, because there are more special stages to be had. Anyway, back to Rusty Ruin. I hate how every time you go into a special stage, you're left with no rings. It's okay, that situation is easily remedied. As I was saying, two new types of enemies, the alligators and the flies. One thing I didn't mention in the previous level, sometimes those continues, which is what those little floating heads are high up above the springs, and you need to have a certain number of flickies to reach them. So sometimes if you want to get all the continues, you can backtrack for those, but seriously, they are very generous with the continues in this game, so you should never ever get a true game over unless, I don't know, you die all the time, which I could understand with the crazy controls. One thing about Tornado Sonic is he is bouncy as hell. Bouncing off the walls will send you flying in several different directions, depending on the angle that you hit the wall, and it can be pretty inconvenient at times. Alright, so this shield is the first time we've seen it in this LP so far. It's the fire shield. Not the first time we've seen it in the Sonic series. It was introduced in Sonic 3. But it allows you to... It's just like a regular shield in that it gives you an extra hit, but it has the added effect of making you immune to fire, as you can see right there. Pretty handy in this level where they put fire around. As you can see, while you're spinning you can't jump or you leave the spin. You also can't go up steps, obviously, so you kind of have to be crafty about how you do it so that you don't lose your spin. Now the levels are starting to get larger. Rusty Ruin is actually fairly... well, it's not large per se, more than it is windy and maze-like. There's a lot of branching paths, and some of them go nowhere. Some of them backtrack to the earlier parts of the stage. So you gotta be careful where you're going, or else you'll have to do the whole stage over again. Alright, we had to break that first, because you can't break these walls while you're doing the tornado, for whatever reason. A little precarious navigation there. And hey, we're gonna talk to Knuckles. I'll be linking that remix, by the way, so that anybody who's interested can check it out. Now, you only need to give these guys 50 rings usually at a time, but if you give them more, that's okay, because you get a bigger bonus at the end. Another side effect of leaving the special stage, aside from losing all your rings, is you lose the shield that you had too, so goodbye fire shield. Oh well, we're not going to see any more fire in this level. We're actually done with this stage. Time to move on to Act 2. I never understood the whole beam me up kind of thing, but hey, whatever, I'll take what I can get. That's an example of one of the continues that are high up. We will not be backtracking for that one, by the way. You'd have to come all the way back to the beginning of Act 2, which is no good. That's no good! Oh, I can't believe I just said that. I should probably be shot for that. Anyway, one thing I've noticed about this level is that while the level gets harder, in the sense that it is more maze-like and has more dangers, spikes and fires, etc., the enemies got a lot easier. There's only 2 types, as opposed to the previous level, which had 3 types. And the enemies of the previous level did things like jump out of the ground. One of them had a spike ball that rotated around it. These guys do nothing but, you know, just walk around, back and forth. They're not hurting anybody. Hey, look, it's Knuckles again. Alright guys, so now we have 6 Chaos Emeralds. We actually only have 1 more, and then we've got them all, so that's great. I've got good news and bad news about that, though. The good news, all 7 Chaos Emeralds get you the good ending in the final fight. The bad news, there's no Supersonic in this game. How sad. However, some spry young fellow, or gal, has created a hack of sorts of this game that has a Supersonic and Sonic 3D Blast, and if people are interested in seeing that, I may show it off as a kind of bonus. If I can get it to work, that is. I've never actually played it or tested it. Anyhow, moving on with Act 2. This is kind of a... well, I'll get to it a little bit after I get this fire shield. But over here on this hill are something that we'll see a little bit later in the game, too. These little spring things. They only show up when you're jumping or bouncing. You gotta be kind of, I don't know, good at your aiming and your angle as you're doing those. Fuck trying to get on that platform. Seriously. Sometimes it's easier just to jump those gaps, but there are times later where we're gonna have to do some serious platform jumping, and that's not very easy in this kind of 3D environment. They don't go out of their way to make it easy. Once again, jumping over the gap helps so much better. Anyway, that's our final flicky for this part. Only 1 more section to go, and we'll be finished with Act 2. Aren't you excited to see what kind of boss this level has? It's really fun. Anyway, Act 2 is a lot smaller than Act 1. Why, I'll never know. But the enemies here, those had 2 on top of each other right there. But the enemies in Act 2 seem to be much closer together and easier to find than in Act 1, so in my opinion they might have been able to swap those, but who am I to question the almighty game designers? Another extra life I'm not gonna need. I don't really know how many times I'm gonna die in this. Probably a lot later, because some of the levels get harder, but anyway, that's done with Act 2. Beam me up. Ready to go. Alright, time to fight the boss. It's a good idea to save a few of those rings down there in case you get hit and need to replenish your rings. Anyway, jump on the palm as it crashes down and hit Dr. Robotnik. Repeat several times. That's it. If you're lucky, you can bounce off and re-land on the paw and basically just keep hitting him. This is a really simple boss to break, and that's all there is to it. So that's going to be it for Sonic 3D Blast, Rusty Ruin Zone. I'll see you guys next time. Spring Stadium.